Geobasket still cool? I know people are going to see this question and they're immediately going to think it's stupid, or I'm trolling, or I'm trying to enrage people, but I'm not. I think that there is a more sophisticated answer than just yes or no, like yes, it's still cool, or no, it's not cool. The reason I ask this question is because the Geobasket during a time period was a grail. It was for a lot of people maybe their first grail. It was for me at least. And it's interesting because sneakers have remained in vogue. Streetwear is as strong as it ever was, but the Geobasket itself doesn't seem as coveted or desirable, or at least not as discussed. For me, I first took an interest in Geobaskets during the time when the dark avant-garde kind of aesthetic was coming out of the woodwork. And it was a very interesting time, at least it felt that way for somebody. I was still learning a lot about fashion, and designers like Rick Owens were just so interesting and bizarre. I loved the monochromatic look. I loved it was something that was elusive, but like, I don't know what's the word, but like a secret club, something very kind of exclusive. Geobasket was kind of a cornerstone for these monochromatic, these drapey silhouettes. The Geobasket during this time, which is a time when like luxury sneakers were on the rise, and Rick's basket and the Dunks were kind of like a mutant version of a sneaker. We've got this huge tongue, this robust like outsole with these treads, and a lot of people wore them to death. Like they beat them up, and it's still, the sneaker has kind of like a bizarre silhouette. And for a lot of looks, and I bet for a lot of people who also coveted the sneaker, this was kind of like that cornerstone. It was like that piece that your wardrobe could be built around. It was kind of like, at least for a time period, an admission to this kind of spooky style zeitgeist culture. With all things, what ended up happening is this became a grail, it became a meme shoe, because so many people are interested in it, because it was so expensive that it wasn't easily accessible. People who are devout fans of this dark avant-garde style, they prefer that their look is not just trendy, because they're really committed to the aesthetic and the ideas behind it. I think that that's one of the reasons that you might see this link, or you might see the title and be like, this is BS. It's a stupid question, because if you like the Geobasket, you'll always like it. I think that's true. I think that's a reality. If we look at the Geobasket, we say that it has always been a design that's cool and that has value, like in an intellectual or artistic sense, that this design from its start it was interesting and had value. Then it should, in a lot of ways, always retain value. If it's not just hype, then it will always be something that's interesting. But I guess what really provoked me to ask this question is, luxury sneakers are still huge. And specifically, a lot of luxury sneakers that we're looking at right now, or that are really trendy on Instagram, that go well with like the classy streetwear vibe, are sneakers that kind of have a retro vibe, like the Geobasket, have big robust soles, and are kind of obscure and mutant in some ways. Sneakers like the Oswego. The Oswego is, I don't think it's as old as the Dunk, but it's been around for a few years, and in the last 2 years, I would say the last 2 years, it's become even trendier. It's become like an Instagrammable shoe. And the thing about them, I'm trying to put together what exactly separates them from, like, say, the Geobasket, where the Oswego is something that people are pairing with a lot of outfits right now. Both sneakers have like kind of a robust, chunky sole. Both sneakers channel something that's a little retro, but with the Oswego and of course the infamous Triple S, both the Oswego and the Triple S are like kind of 90s. That's kind of their what they're pulling from. The Geobasket, I don't know, maybe it's something like more like 70s or 80s, if that matters at all. Does it matter that the Oswego and the Triple S are low tops and the Geobasket is kind of like a high top? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's what is holding it back. I think that perhaps it might have something to do with, I'm not sure, I don't really know. I was gonna say something, but I don't really know. For a lot of fashion items, there's an exposure point. There's a point where once they're seen enough and they're worn around enough, people, it's aesthetically not as interesting. I think that the Geobasket, for better or worse, had reached peak basket, and it came to a point where at least people on the internet, where people on like the forums, where it's kind of like, it's not as interesting to try to pair this sneaker with your outfits or whatever, because we've seen it so much. And I think in a lot of ways, the sneaker that people were buying, I felt like people were then turning to the Ramon more. You know, not the one that Rick used to wear, like the really high one, but the one that looks kind of more Converse-y. Maybe because it's easier to pair with things, maybe because it's more, it just seems like an easier shoe to wear, and I feel like that maybe it just felt like it had more classic appeal, whereas the Geobasket is often so loud that your outfit is dictated around how you can kind of style this. Wear my Geobaskets, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel proud. I feel like it's cool to stick with something after its hyped trendiness has died down some. I think that if you're interested in an aesthetic, I mean, it's like something that Glenn O'Brien wrote for GQ a while back when somebody was asking about like, streetwear culture is really popular, but he likes to wear suits. And Glenn O'Brien said something along the lines of, keep wearing that suit. If that's your look, stick to your look. Because what's gonna end up happening is, you might go through a period of where it's like, oh, you're not onto trends. We're now all wearing sneakers. But then there's gonna come a point where it's like, that dude is kind of sticking out. You know, you're doing something that nobody else is doing, to a point where it's like, that guy's always been wearing that aesthetic. He's always been sticking to that look. And in the cylindrical nature of fashion, you know, what comes around goes around. This guy's the trendsetter. Does that make any sense? Probably not. Long story short, is the Geobasket still cool? It's not still hyped. And I think that it's not still hyped to some extent because its silhouette isn't exactly what we want in a lot of fits, because so many of the fits are kind of, right now, have been dictated by Balenciaga, and kind of like outfits with wide trousers that break over like low tops. But I think to a larger extent, it had been played out. At least as far as the internet is concerned, the reason that you're not seeing it as much is because it was played out. That's chill. My point being, that's alright. That's the Geobasket story. If you liked this video, please comment, please like it, please subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are. I'm always mixing up the location, I'm always trying to try something new. But if there was something that if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you felt like I'm leaving some critical element about the Geobasket saga. I mean, with my videos, I try to keep them short because I feel like people just want me to reach the point. Because I think it's best just to reach the point. But let me know what you think I should have said about the Geobasket, or let me know what you think I should be talking about. Because I'm gonna try to keep posting each week. I'm gonna try. And I love to hear from you guys. I'm doing this so I can hear back from people, so that people will talk to me about fashion. That's the truth. So I'll catch you in another video. So I'll see you later.